Welcome back to Lumiose Tower. We're aiming to be the very best like no one ever was. And today we have a gonna fix up my mic here, very fun video for you. So I just got back from a Pokemon Regionals, the Charlotte one specifically. So for those who maybe don't know, Pokemon actually does do tournaments. They have tournaments all around the world, really. And there's different, sectors, I guess, that where they kind of measure things. Like there's North America, there's obviously Japan, there's Europe, and you kind of, depending on your standing within that sector, so like if you live in North America, depending on your standing in North America, you can potentially get Worlds invites. Also, if you get a certain amount of championship points, that's what determines the Worlds invite. But you might get a free ride to Worlds if you are high enough in, your sector, and you can skip day two or skip to day two of Worlds if you're high enough in your sector. Because basically what they'll do is they'll do a bunch of rounds where you'll battle a bunch of people. And that's day one. Day two, they do more of those rounds, weed out even more people. And then lastly, you have the final day. But this would allow you to skip that first weeding out of people and go ahead and be with like the first cut, So that is really special, really coveted. Obviously, since this was my first time at a regionals, I did not expect to do well, and spoiler alert, I did not do very well at all. I did win my first round there, and that was my goal. But yeah, I kind of wanted to walk through what each day was like for me, and I want to go ahead and open up the comment section. Ask down below any questions you have about regionals, especially if you're like me. Regionals was a very scary thing to go to because I didn't know what it would be like. And there was actually VGC Corner, shout out to them on Twitter. They put out a post on what day, what the kind of first time would look like. And that was very helpful to me. So I wanted to do a similar thing by sharing my own experience, but then doing a follow-up video later on, answering any questions I have in the comments about what a regional looks like. So just to be clear, there are 4 different, I guess, sections of the tournament. There's people doing Pokemon Unite, and I actually don't think that season started. I don't think anyone was playing it at the tournament I was at, but I'm really not sure. There's Pokemon Go, Pokemon TCG, so the trading card game, and VGC, which is done on Scarlet and Violet. Eventually when we get Gen 10, it'll be done on whatever that is. It was done on Sword and Shield until Scarlet and Violet came out. You get the idea. So, I entered VGC, obviously. I'm a big fan of the games, so that's what I entered. I also was joined by my wife. I'm going to really quickly kick this video off to past me, who's going to reveal his team. I've got a bunch of videos that I made throughout the weekend that I do want to share in here. So here's what I was feeling before I left. Hi, so this is Lumi from Wednesday, January 17th. So tomorrow we are actually leaving where I live, and we will be going to Charlotte for the tournament. This Friday's like day 0, and then Saturday and Sunday is the course of the tournament. This is to talk about my thoughts. This is a brand new thing for me. I've never done a VGC tournament before. I've done one VGC best of 3 battle on my game. I've done a few Smogon things, but yeah, I'm nervous, but honestly, all my nerves are coming from actually figuring out where to go in the tournament and stuff like that. I'm not nervous for the battling component. I am not expecting to do well. This is my first time. This is just purely for me a getting my feet in the water kind of thing. But yeah, so let's go over the team I'm bringing. So I'm bringing a team that is very similar to Alex Underhill's team. He was the winner of the Portland Regionals, and I really like his team. It's a very, in my opinion, easy team to use for first-timers, but it's this Dragonite with Extreme Speed, Outrage, Stomping Tantrum, and he ran Aerial Ace. I did swap it for Aqua Jet, and then I have Inner Focus has the ability, of course. Ogre I have Ivy Cudgel, Horn Leech, Spiky Shield, Follow Me. I ran this exactly as Alex ran his. Fluttermane, same thing. Moonblast, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam, Protect. Exact same way Alex ran his. Chien-Pao and Entei, I also ran the same way Alex ran his. Chien-Pao has Ice Spinner, Protect, Sucker Punch, and Sacred Sword. Entei has Sacred Fire, Snarl, Extreme Speed, and Stomping Tantrum. The Terra types are all the same as Alex's. I did, however, not use Raging Bolt. Instead, I use Glimmora as a counter to any Tornadus we see. And in practicing with this thing on Ranked, I've really been enjoying this Glimmora set. I'm using Meteor Beam, Spiky Shield, Earth Power, Sludge Bomb, going for a quick Glimmora with Toxic Debris as well. And it has power to guarantee that that first Meteor Beam goes out immediately. Yeah, so, that is my current plan. If I play in the PC on Friday and I end up going, oh, you know, I'm screwed, I need to, change my approach and I need to, change up my team a little bit, then I will, and I'll report on that. But yeah, that's the team plan right now. Really excited for this. See y'all on the other end. I am currently packing. It is Thursday morning. We're leaving today to drop off this little feller and at her grandparents, I suppose, my in-laws. And yeah, then we're making our way to Charlotte. Really excited, really nervous. But you know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not expecting to do well. It's the first time, right? But yeah, I'm excited. I am excited. Hopefully I get to see some people there that you know, I know and stuff. Okay, so on day one, we actually had to drive to drop off. My in-laws don't live too far from Charlotte. Like, they're probably about 2 hours away from Charlotte. So we had to drive there, drop off the dog, because we do have a dog. And then we went to Charlotte. And so we left from where I live to my in-laws on Thursday. Then Friday morning we got up, went to Charlotte pretty early in the morning. We got to Charlotte at about 10 o'clock. I felt that, you know, typically before going to like a Pokemon League, one has to go to a victory road. They have to go through some sort of crazy route or maze or something. So we chose the perfect location, IKEA. Obviously, IKEA was a lot of fun. There was, like, no one there. It was really weird. We ended the day by getting some, or our time at IKEA, rather, by getting some meatballs and some salmon, and got a beautiful view where the restaurant of the IKEA is. So, yeah, that was that. But then we went down to the venue, and what the venue looked like was there were a lot of people in two lines. We kind of got a little lost at first because there were two different lines. We didn't know which one was what. But we had to get in a line to go and get our badges for and a little wristband for being able to enter the venue, right? And in fact, I have somewhere around here in my book bag that I brought. So we get this, right? It's a little lanyard, very cute. It's got the Pokemon Regionals logo on it, and then, of course, it's got Charlotte right there. And on the back, it's got, like, a list of other regionals that are going to be on the East Coast. So, yeah, that was really cool. And then I think I even kept the wristband as well. I did! Yeah. Just, you know, like, one of those things you get, like, at, like, I guess a theme park or a fair where, you know, they put it around your wrist. Tried to preserve it, tried to rip it off as best as I could so I could keep it. I wanted to keep everything that I got from the regionals because, you know, first time, it was really cool. So we stood in line, got that. Then we stood in the other line, wait for the venue to open up. We all went down there. Day one, there wasn't a ton of people, especially not in comparison to day two. There was a little PC, so like a smaller tournament that they did day one. Unfortunately, my wife and I we didn't do our research, and we were a little late to register, so we did not do the PC on day one. But there wasn't a lot of people there, just really the people doing the PC. There were a few venues at the, or stands at the venue, and they were selling Pokemon cards, Pokemon products, and of course Pokemon plushies. You know, a little overpriced, not what you typically pay. I was willing to, you know, make a purchase for me and Sarah, because, you know, it was our first time and I wanted something to commemorate that. But yeah, it was like they had, you know, the fluffy Clodsire plush, which I later looked and found online for like $55, was like $80 there. So it's $55 only because it'd be shipping from Japan. So they charge a little more, and that's what these places do, right? You can buy packs of cards, like they had Korean packs. My niece is actually a really big fan of Pokemon, so we bought her some Sprigatito chopsticks that were like from Japan, and we bought her a little Korean pack of cards. Would have liked to buy her a Japanese pack. I did not see any of those there. And then of course they had just like singular cards for sale, right? Like you could buy just a Charizard card for $4,500. I'm not kidding. There was a Charizard card there for $4,500. In fact, there's one Charizard card there that was $14,000 because I showed it to my wife and jokingly went, "Hey, should we buy this?" Funnily enough, we couldn't if we wanted to. But I said, "Hey, should we buy this?" And she went, "Honestly, I'd have thought that card would be more than $1,400." I went, "Honey, you need to look at it again." She looks at it, and sure enough, there was another zero. So it was not $1,400, it was $14,000. So that was kind of wild. It was cool to like see that kind of stuff up close. But yeah, so the plushies that I did end up getting was I got me this Lapras. Very cute. I love it. But you can see like it's from Japan. Then I got Vaporeon plushie. So yeah, it's kind of fluffy. I don't know if you could tell that on camera, but yeah, so that was really fun. So other than that, like I said, there weren't many people there. The only people I recognized day one was I did see Justin Tang was there. Obviously, he's a pretty big VGC player. He's well known for the first regional he ever entered. He just won the whole thing, and then he went and won another one like 2 regionals later. Kid's insane. So it was cool to see him. Now, on that first day, you have to... Day 0 is really what they call it, because like the tournament hasn't begun yet, just the venues opened up. We went just so we could familiarize ourselves with the venue, you know where all the restrooms are, the concessions, know like where we're battling, know how to get to the actual venue, because it's a big convention center, and we are just one of the venues at the convention center, right? So we wanted to make sure we knew how to do everything. And yeah, it was pretty fun. Like I said, not too crazy. It definitely did not have me prepared for what I would see the next day. More on that in a bit. But it was a lot of fun. We had to lock in our teams that night. I did end up locking in the team that I said I would lock in, and my wife ended up locking in her team as well. The only differences in our team were that she ran an Iron Hands instead of a Glamora. I ran Glamora, she ran Iron Hands. And then those were like our Tornadus counters. Ironically, I did not face a Tornadus, but she did and said that Iron Hands was very, very handy for handling that Tornadus. And then my Dragonite was speed crept more than her Dragonite, and her Ogerpon, she ran it the exact same stats as mine, but ran it Jolly so that it had a little bit of a speed creep. But yeah. Okay, so we have been to the venue now. It's been day 0. I kind of want to give my thoughts, honestly, because I want to, have that now, like, fresh off the boat, right? Like, not later when I've had time to let it all sink in. First off, look, isn't that cool? And I've got a little lanyard in my backpack, so that's pretty neat. But no, so here's the thing. I'm gonna be 100% with y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all the good. I'm gonna tell y'all the bad, the ugly, all that fun stuff. All right. So first off, the venue itself not as daunting as I realized. The venue was actually kind of smaller than I expected. And the stage that they have people go up on to do the streamed matches, not as big as I thought. So that honestly was kind of nice. Like that was. Like, okay, this is not as high, obviously it's high stakes, but you know what I mean. Like, it was not quite as, daunting and intimidating as I had feared it would be. Now, I will say the people thing, there were a lot of people there, and I'm aware that's day 0. Most of the people will actually be coming tomorrow. So, that's actually, I have seen the least amount of people today that I will. So that's a little scary, to be honest, because there was a lot of people. And I'm the kind of person, I have a lot of social anxiety. And I especially have social anxiety with, like, not just talking to people, but, like, the kind where, I don't know if this will make sense, but, like, where I'm not claustrophobic, right? I can get in a tight space and I'm all good. But if it's a tight space because of the amount of people in the room, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So there was some of that for sure. But overall, a lot of fun. I'm really excited for tomorrow. People were very nice. I had trouble figuring out. There were like multiple lines. I had trouble figuring out what line went where. And, there was this guy who just offered up his help to me and my wife. So that was very, very kind of him. I did miss the PC today. So that's some valuable practice that I am not getting. So we're going to submit the team that I showed in the team preview. I might speed creep the Dragonite a little bit more. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But my wife is using that same team, but instead of Glamora, she's using Iron Hands, and she's still sticking with that. She says Iron Hands is the best. I've kind of considered switching Iron Hands, but I'm like, nah, I'm not using the same team as my wife. I'm using my own team, But a lot of fun. I will say, dude, I am tempted to go to the Dollar. Y'all are gonna think I'm playing. I'm not playing. I am tempted to go to the Dollar Tree on the way and swing into the little travel toiletry section, buy a bunch of deodorant, and walk around and hand them out that venue. Some of y'all smell funky. I'm just saying. Deodorant is your friend. But yeah, overall, a lot of fun. Really excited for tomorrow. Excited to do some battles. I'm just excited. A lot of my anxiety, I was very anxious the last few days about this, just because it was, not because like, oh, I'm afraid of losing. Now, I expect to lose. It's my first time. But because I was afraid of, and I hope this makes sense, just not knowing what to do, you know what I mean? Kind of just like getting lost and not knowing where everything is and kind of not knowing what to expect. I don't like not knowing what to expect from something, but that wasn't the case at all. It's been very, very simple. I'm sorry, I've got a big phone and the camera's there. I need to be looking there. But it is, it's over now. I've familiarized myself with the venue, so I'm feeling a lot better about that, and I just have excitement. I do have to get up early tomorrow, and that's not, preferred, because we're actually about 30 minutes-ish from the venue. We have family that had a house that we're crashing at, so very grateful to that. My aunt and Uncle Rock, but yeah. So the next day we woke up probably, I don't know, we woke up like 6 o'clock. We were staying about 25 minutes from the venue, but the next day we woke up. It is the morning of the first tournament day. I'm very tired. I honestly don't feel very well. I have the stomach pain, but I'm gonna power through it. Might be hunger pain, you never know. Sometimes it is, you feel bad, then you eat, and then it's like, okay, well, I feel good now, so we'll see. It's very dark in here because right now I hate light because it is early. It's too early. Goal for the day. I wanna force a game 3. I don't know like how competitive it's gonna be. How many, like, obviously it's gonna be very competitive, but I don't know if there's gonna be like anybody who's a bit more like me, right? Where it's like they don't really know what they're doing. So my hard goal is to force a game 3. So to win a set, it's best of 3. So my goal is to force it to where we have to go to the third match. So I win one of the little matches within the match. My soft goal is to win a overall match, but we'll see. We did a practice best of 3 last night, my wife and I, and she won. So doesn't look good for old Lumi. The wife might win this, though. Probably not, but if she does, that's pretty cool. I think I'll just hand over the YouTube to her, let her take it from here, and I'll retire to Ireland, where I will become a fisherman. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we were on our way. We get to the venue, and it is packed. We immediately, as we're walking in line, we see, one of the first people we see is Wolf Glick, and I can't remember if it's Brendan or Brandon Zhang, so I'm going to say Brendan or Brandon. But they were standing in line together. I was going to talk to Wolf, but, he seemed busy, and honestly, it was really early, so I did not, and I never saw him again for the rest of the tournament. No joke, never saw Wolf again, which is strange, because he won the whole thing, so clearly he was there. So yeah, we get down there, and pretty quickly, our round 1 matches are posted. So what this is on this website called RK9 Labs, and you can pull it up from your phone. You would see your matchup. So I saw that I was against an opponent. I'm not going to name my opponent's names just in case they're not cool with it, but my opponent's first name was Hayden. That's, fine to say. But yeah, so I went up against Hayden, and I don't even remember the name of Sarah's first opponent, but we went our separate ways. And the round actually started much later than we expected, and they even announced that we would not be getting a lunch break because the rounds were starting later than expected. But the people I sat around were incredibly nice, incredibly friendly. Truthfully, I have a lot of social anxiety, and I was very nervous going there. People I don't know, I can't help it. I hate it about myself, but I can't help it. I have a lot of social anxiety, and going there, I was very nervous. But these people, they didn't, try to help me with my nervousness. They couldn't tell I was nervous. I'm pretty good at hiding it. But they just immediately, I sit down, hey, how are you? Yeah, asking how many regionals you've been to. Oh, this is your first time. Just super, super friendly. Yeah, you're boxed in too. You are like I'm sitting here, my opponent's across from me. There is a guy within, elbow's length of me, and then on the other side, another guy within elbow's length of me facing their opponent. It also was very interesting that these matches are based on an honor system, really. So what happens is there are refs around. So if this actually ended up happening to me in my 3rd round match, there was a disconnect, and so we had to signal a ref, and they came over and helped. But they're not, on stream you see one sitting at the match. It's not like that for the people not on stream. There's just refs around, but they're not, hovering over you or sitting next to you or anything. So I was a little surprised by that. And what happens is they give you this match slip. It's got your name, your opponent's name on it, and then it has, game 1, game 2, game 3. And because it's a best of 3. And so what happens is you play your 3 games, and you initial next to who won each set, and then you circle the winner next to the player that won the round, and then the winner will go and take their match slip up to the stand where people are waiting to take them, and kind of calculate what the round 2 matches will be, and everyone's win-loss record, all that stuff. So they also went around and passed out these luggage tags. Maybe I have these luggage tags with me too. Yeah, that one I think I already took out. Oh no, here we go. Wow, I need to stop doubting myself. So yeah, they gave us a little luggage tag. That's kind of neat. We all thought it was pertinent to the match, to be honest, because they gave them out while we were sitting there playing, and we were all trying to figure out what to do with them. And then finally someone much smarter than myself went, these are just luggage tags. So then we were like, oh yeah, they are, and that was it. But that was a lot of fun. They give us these sheets that I have mine right here. Sarah's is in the other room. But basically it will, I'm not going to dox myself because it is my last name on it too. But it has the list of my Pokemon. So you see, there we go. I got my name covered up. But it has my Pokemon on there, which were, again, Chiampao, Glamora, Fluttermane, Dragonite, Ogerpon with the Wellspring Mask, and Entei. So they do specify, what Pokemon have, if it has alternate forms, it specifies what form. I was eventually I battled an opponent with an Urshifu, and, you know, it says Urshifu, and then parentheses, Rapid Strike, or Single Strike. What these are is these are your open team sheets. And what ends up happening is when the battle begins, you will trade your sheet with your opponent so that you can see the details of their mons. And the things it reveals is your mon's name, or what mon it is, rather. So it says Chien Pao. It reveals its Terra type. It's a Ghost Terra type. It reveals that its ability is Sword of Ruin. Its held item is a Focus Sash. And then it reveals all 4 of its moves: Ice Spinner, Protect, Sucker Punch, and Sacred Sword. This allows you to just kind of calculate your moves a little bit better. Like, my wife eventually went up against a guy. It was her 3rd win. She went up against a guy who used an Archaludon, and that Archaludon had the Terra type of Fairy. So instead of locking her Dragonite into Outrage, she decided to lock it into Stopping Tantrum instead, so that she could make sure, you know, he didn't tear into a Fairy type. That's what the open team sheets are for, is so you can kind of calculate a little bit better. I haven't played VGC for long enough, nor have I played it in the past to be able to say whether open team sheets is bad or good, but a lot of VGC players really, really like it, and definitely makes it easier for newcomers like myself, so I would say it's good. But I'm sure that there's someone out there who doesn't like that. I will say my one complaint would be them revealing the items, and that's just because it makes an ability irrelevant. The ability Frisk is now irrelevant to VGC, which kind of bothers me a little bit, but it's fine. So yeah, so we're sitting there waiting, and eventually they walk by and say, round 1 begin, you can begin your round 1 matches. So my opponent and I played. I won the first set, and then I won the second set, and the second set, oh man, I'm telling you, that first match, really, it could have been a streamed match. It was a very, very good match. My opponent played really, really well, and it ended up coming down to, there was a lot of hacks in the second game. He had an Entei, and it used Sacred Fire on my Chien Pao. This got my Chien Pao all the way to 1, and obviously activated its Focus Sash, and then it got a burn on my Chien Pao. So my Chien Pao then fainted that turn due to a burn. So that kind of sucked, and then we had a burn on my Fluttermane, and he had Grassy Terrain up and had his Rillaboom out. My Fluttermane is burned, but there's the Grassy Terrain, so what this is doing is the burn's chipping Fluttermane, but then Rillaboom's Grassy Terrain is healing it back to what it was. So it is neither taking damage nor healing. It's just, you know, constantly switching between 17 and 25 HP, because it had already taken some damage. And Fluttermane and Dragonite are my last Pokemon on the field. My Dragonite is Choice Banded, and it's using Extreme Speed, so it is locked into Extreme Speed. And he has a Golden Go in the back. So I am fully aware that the only way that I win this match is if I preserve Fluttermane. Issue is, Grassy Terrain's on the field, so Rillaboom is able to use Grassy Glide, and it's a priority move, so it will move before Fluttermane would be able to hit the Golden Go when it comes out, and it will take me out. What ended up happening is I had to protect my Fluttermane and use Extreme Speed on Rillaboom from my Dragonite, and I saw the light. I saw that, you know, it's not going to work. I'm going to need 3 Extreme Speeds on this Rillaboom in order to take it out. I have 1, and I've protected Fluttermane, so the only way that I win this set is if I can get my Fluttermane to get a double protect. Now, for those of you who don't know, the chances of a protect working in a row halves. So protect will work when you use it. But if you want to use it immediately after, it has a 50% chance of working. Luckily, we got it. We got the 50% protect, so that was awesome. And the next turn, Dragonite was able to Extreme Speed the Rillaboom, and Shadow Ball from Fluttermane took out the Golden Go, and we were sitting pretty. It was very, very nice. It was a rewarding win, right? Because, you know, like, you played right? Like, there was definitely luck, because getting a second protect is luck, but it was cool to, like, be in that moment where I know I have to get a double. The double protect is my only win condition for this set, and I was able to get it. So that was very cool. And I don't think I've ever gotten a double protect in my life, so that was neat. Okay, so we have finished round 1. I have won my first match, so that's pretty good. That's my soft goal. My wife has also won her first match, so maybe we'll bring this. Now, then we had our second round matches, and in our second round matches, I ended up losing, and ultimately the reason I lost is because I did not trust Mike Lamora. We have now gone, I'm 1-1.
I won.
The wife is 2-1, or 2-0 I mean. But yeah, maybe she'll play Justin Tang or Wolf Glick next, who knows? I should have gotten more practice in with my team. I didn't know what Glamora could and couldn't take, what it could and couldn't defeat. Glamora was a pretty last-minute addition to my team, and, I mean, there's no getting around it. I should have practiced more. Now, my wife does think that I also had some kind of unlucky matchups in my round 2, 3, and 4 opponents. That might be true. Like, it definitely was. They were using teams that were optimized for my team. Like, their teams did work really well with my team. I was using a variant of Alex Underhill's team, so it makes sense that people would be bringing teams to counter the last regionals winning team, right? That's just intelligent. And I got matched up against 3 of them, so like that, I was out. My wife, however, was able to win her second round. Third round, she actually did lose. And then the fourth round, she actually won. So then lastly, her fifth round, she's up against this guy. She tells me that she's talking to him and, you know, just making small talk before the round begins. And she's like, you know, how many of these have you been to? And he's like, I've been to a few. She's like, have you ever, like, made day 2? And he goes, yeah, I've made day 2. And she goes, oh, really? Well, how far have you gone? And he goes, well, I've won some. And she's like, what, you've won some? Tell me. Now, the thing about my wife is she's bad with faces and names. She doesn't have the best memory with people. She loves watching the streams, but just, you know, like, I had to point out Wolf Glick to her because, you know, it looks a little bit different from the stream. You're like, is that Wolf Glick? Oh, yeah, that's totally Wolf Glick. So she's battling him. She says she got clobbered. Obviously, I did not see the match, so I cannot attest to that. But yeah, she said she lost both sets, and she lost, like, pretty miserably. And the guy, you know, told her a few of the regionals he won. She walks over to me. I look at her phone where it shows who she was up against, and I go, Sarah, you just battled Aaron Traylor. For those, now, if you're a VGC fan, you probably just went, because Aaron Traylor is a big name in VGC. So, yeah, and he gave her third loss. And when you get 3 losses, you're not going to make day 2. So we went ahead and dropped so we could enjoy the tournament, just enjoy, like, the venue and all. You know, I don't think that'll be what we do in Orlando, but we did it just so we could kind of experience all of it, you know, without making an effort in battles that we're not going to win. So yeah, she ended up losing to Aaron Traylor. He ended up kind of being the one to kick her out of the tournament, right? And that's incredible. She's so happy with herself because she's like, I went 3-3 and the guy who kicked me out was Aaron Traylor. I'm good. So I am very proud of her. A little jealous, if I'm honest, but very, very proud of her. She even, when, you know, dropping, they asked her, you know, who her opponent was and all, and she said, oh, I just bowed Aaron Traylor. And the guy who who was writing her name down or whatever, said, yeah, I've been playing this for 11 years, have not won a single set against Aaron Traylor. To be kicked out of here by Aaron, it's an honor. So that was really, really cool. Yeah, day 2 was packed. There were a ton of people there, way more than there was on day 0, or I guess day 1 is what I'm talking about, but day 0 being the day before, you get what I mean. I even got to meet JPR and Hybrid Hero. I also saw Pragmagic and a couple other people. Hasty, who's a Twitch streamer. And I know I saw more than that, but I apologize. I'm just, you know, so overloaded even still from the event. Plenty of VGC players, you know. I saw Joseph Ugarte and Justin Tang again. Saw Luca. I saw Justin Karas. All kinds of people. I saw Sierra Dawn, Rosemary Kelly. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. Really, really fun. Hybrid Hero, met him as well, and he told me that he would probably guess there was about 6,000 people there, I think is what he said. I would have to say that was accurate. It was huge. And it ended up, actually, we found out that it was the biggest regionals they've ever had in their lives. So that's pretty cool. We entered the biggest regional of all time, and my wife went 3-3. So that's pretty cool. I didn't, but Orlando, I definitely plan to be there, and I want to enter it again, and I hope to do a little bit better. But honestly, no matter what, I'm just excited to go to Orlando because Florida's awesome, and to just be at the venue and everything. In fact, also, if you follow my podcast, the Hidden Power Podcast, you'll know Dusty Go-Goat and Soul Silver Art are my co-hosts, and they also will be at Orlando as well. At least they're saying they are. Let's see if they come through. But yeah, so we'll all be there. Really excited for it. Hopefully, some of y'all can see us at Orlando. Yeah, I guess that's it. Again, in the comments below, let me know any questions you have, and I'd love to do a follow-up video to this where I address your questions that you have about regionals. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, and until next time, keep on climbing to the top.